Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's MBTV news. This is a program where we bring you all the sort of latest information about virtual worlds, immersive spaces online, and some of the kit and haptics and stuff one uses to access them when there's anything significant and new on that front, so to speak. My name is Mal Burns. I'm joined in the studio here by my tech wizard, who, the man of the knobs, as we say, but we won't dwell on that. It's Mr. James Atlloud. Hello, James.
Oh, hello, Mal. How are you today?
I am caffeinated.
Oh, me as well. Me as well. Two mugs today. Two mugs full.
Oh well, it's only one. Well, at this time it was. It was about 10 in the morning.
Okay.
Yes. Oh well. Yeah. If we sound like Motor Mouse today, you'll know what's happening. Right.
Fully
Okay.
caffeinated, right?
Yeah, it's fully caffeinated and terrible drugs, drugs. Dear
Hmm.
me,
Hmm.
caffeine. My goodness gracious me, isn't it illegal?
Not yet.
Right. Sorry, fuss. Okay, so I'm Mal Bones and he's James, and you can find me on Twitter at yeah, I'm still there. Twitter.com/Malburns, Malburns, and I post to Mastodon in two Mastodon channels actually. One of Vivaldi, one at Mastodon itself, and they get relayed
Oh.
to Twitter. They get relayed to Twitter for the moment. So if anything happens to Twitter, they're safely backed up, so to speak. So they're all part of a relay. I think it was last week I was moaning about the state of the tweet world.
Hmm.
And after several days of hacking and this, that, and the other, I've actually found a back alley way to sort my pipes, as it were. So I'm thoroughly tweeting again directly. But how long that will go on, I don't know. Especially as a habit of sort of bad mouthing people that piss me around. So maybe Mr. I was going to call him Trump for a minute. Musk, yeah, maybe he'll just get rid of me soon. Anyway, who knows? Who knows? But he's brought Trump back, so come on, it can't be worse than that, can I? Right. Okay. So, as I said today, well, I haven't said it yet, but today is the 29th of January 2023. We are already on the cusp of February. Wouldn't you know it?
Hmm.
Temperature hasn't changed much, though, I've got to admit. And so these are the week's headlines, as it were, for the week ending, the 29th. With one exception, because we will be looking at the Scargo's site, and that's for the week before. But it always is, because it comes out on Monday. See what I mean?
Hmm.
Anyway, let's get going. Without further ado. And yeah, I'll start off by having a look at the links we got here. So I'm on my center screen. Yes, here we are. This is actually a nice graphic. It's actually at the top of the page from McKinsey and Company, a CEO's Guide to the Metaverse, and it's so nicely animated. And like it's a figure at the top, sort of on a springboard. Do I jump or don't I? And it is a she, I think, is wearing a helmet or what they politely call a headset. Don't know about that, but no, it's a significant one. Anyway, this is an article from January 24th, and of course, if I scroll down now, you'll see it's just a web page, and it's not one that will fit my reader thing. So this is probably why I started with it. Um, it's at McKinsey.com, so MCKINSEY.com. And as you say, it's just called the CEO's Guide to the Metaverse. And I mean, it's an interesting article because I guess CEOs are the kind of people they're aiming at here, and they do sort of, cover. Oops, got all that. It's not a particularly long article anyway, but they sort of cover things in general. But as I say, that lovely splash screen was what took me to that. Right, going back where we normally start, actually, a bit further up. This is the one I mentioned a minute ago. This is January 23rd, which was Monday. And this is the scarghost.com. Cue the music. Da, da, da. Yes, indeed. Apparently, you know what the Skull Ghost? a ghost or not, but he sounds a bit like a wolf, doesn't he? But I guess he sounds the same whether he's in the Western world or the Eastern world. He's currently in China and posting away on Twitter from said country. And what I'm telling you is if you ever want to come here and do your work while you're here, check out how to do it beforehand, because if you don't know anybody there to explain the setup, it is all very different. Anyway, that's where he is. The XR Week Peak is one he posts every Monday. And it's his roundup of the week before. So whereas we're rounding up last week now, this is the roundup of the week before that. But it's a good way to start the week because it does feature a pretty good roundup. Obviously, by tomorrow, he'll be publishing another one. Well, one assumes he will be. So whatever you get on his site tomorrow will be a roundup that sort of ties in with our week, so to speak. So you find them at scarredghost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com. Anthony Patillo is his actual name, but he prefers to Scarred Ghost. So there you go. There you go. Moving on, Spatial Beats is another weekly roundup from the beginning of the week. This one's at arinsider.co, and this is the start of the week from Charlie Fink, who also publishes a video one and another roundup later in the week. He'll be doing it twice a day at the current rate. I'm assuming, I suppose, he gets more sponsors, but there you go. You'll find it arinsider.co, ARINSIDER.co. And again, it's a roundup. You're talking about the World Economic Forum, which, of course, we discussed last week. And yeah, well, there's nothing here really that I don't think we mentioned last week if it was relevant to us. But it's always a good source of roundup, and it's not particularly long, that one, which is change, I suppose. All right, moving on down the list. This is PR Newswire, and again, it's not cooperating with my reader, but some sites don't. You know, it's down to style sheets and things. This is actually about the croquet authoring platform, and they've just released a press release, which this isn't actually new, but they've obviously taken the opportunity to, point out the fact that they are the first metaverse plugin that actually works with WordPress. To deploy multi-user immersive worlds into websites and blogs in minutes. Now, as far as I can tell, I have a WordPress blog, but it's at like wordpress.com or something. It's not a standalone installation of WordPress, which of course is what a lot of people use. I did have one once, courtesy my partner, but no longer. And I've got a feeling that this plugin from Croquet only works if you actually host your own WordPress site, rather than ones that are hosted by WordPress itself. But I can't be sure of that. You'll find this link at prnewswire.com, prnewswire.com. And as I said, you can find links to all this stuff on my Twitter feed at twitter.com/malburns, which will, if necessary, take you to the exact page you need, as opposed to PR Newswire's front page or whatever. So more by way of an announcement here, and links to some other articles about Croquet too. So Croquet, kind of interesting thing. If you know Mozilla Hubs and Frame.io and things like that, then that's the kind of territory you're dealing with. Fully evolved immersive worlds, but actually rendered on the web rather than on standalone clients. So moving on from that, a couple of sites here. Okay, this is gelvix.com, JELVIX.com. Very weird when that. The article is called Virtual Reality Development Is It Worth Investing In? And again, this sort of sounds like, well, less for CEOs and more for accountants, maybe, I don't know. But again, it's sort of looking at the thing, is it still going? What's the cost of all this? What is it in the first place? Blah, blah, blah. So another one of those, you look it up, read it, and if you need, you need this, sometimes you need these kind of posts to send to people who know less than you do, kind of thing, and you can probably judge the flavour of who it's addressed out best if you go look at it. So JELVIX.com for that one. followed by the one that we just looked at anyway. I don't know why I didn't delete it. Maybe because it's a pretty graphic, but we have done that now. Right, moving down again. This is a virtuality blog, virtuality.blog, blog being the suffix in this case. Virtual Explorer point of view. Oh, okay. I occasionally come to this blog. I actually do get the feeds, and it includes all sorts of 3D kind of stuff all over the place. But I thought this was kind of interesting. It's actually from, I guess, last Saturday, so it's older than the beginning of the week, but only by a whisker. The most popular virtual worlds amongst young people. And I'm always a bit odd when I see this. I know that things like OpenSim and Second Life probably have established audience, and the demographic is probably older than kids. Especially Second Life, because I think you have to be 18 or maybe 17 or something to get in. This article can be forgiven for actually ignoring some of the longer lasting worlds that probably are for adults anyway. But they do an introduction, they look at what's around, they start with Roblox. They go on to Minecraft, and that's going to be a good segue, actually. World of Warcraft, various other things. And then it does cover Second Life here, actually, even though Second Life is, well, it depends what you call a young person here, really, doesn't it? Somebody who's 19, I guess, is a young person to some of us. But still, that is allowed into Second Life. So, it does get a mention. OpenSim doesn't, obviously, that's too obscure for them. But anyway, they're just interesting. So virtuality.blog, virtuality.blog for that one. And I'm just going to hop over now because Minecraft is mentioned on that one. And I want to find, here we are. This is a 3-minute clip. Now, this is released for about Design Futures here in London, actually. I'll let it speak for itself.
Hello, it's Sadiq Khan here, the Mayor of London. I'd like to welcome all young Londoners to the Design Future London Challenge in partnership with C40, and thank you for taking part. This is your opportunity to find out how you can through architecture, engineering, planning and construction. As this is your city, we're asking you to show us how you want London to look. Our homes, schools, parks, high streets and even our football stadiums. As me, I'm committed to building a better London for everyone. A city that's healthier, safer, greener and more inclusive and accessible for all of our communities. That means making sure everyone, regardless of background, has the chance to be involved in designing London's future. And that's exactly what this challenge is all about. So be inspired, be innovative, and most importantly, have fun.
Hi, I'm Jules Pipe, Deputy Mayor for Planning, Regeneration and Skills. The Mayor and I are teaming up with Minecraft Education and C40 to bring schools reinventing cities to design future London as a special and quite blocky challenge. Young Londoners, the Mayor and I invite you to create new and innovative solutions that will help reimagine Croydon Town Centre and to make it a safer, fairer, greener and more prosperous place. Build your solutions in Minecraft and then send your ideas to us and we'll share them with the whole world. Here's how it works. Any student in London can participate from the age of 5 to 24, either by yourself or with friends. First, you'll download the special Design Future London world to explore in Minecraft Education. Once you're inside the world, talk to the NPCs or non-player characters, including me and the Mayor. The NPCs will guide you through Croydon Town Centre from the north end quarter, walking through the Whitgift shopping centre and stroll towards Poplar Walk. Here you'll have the chance to completely rebuild, reconstruct or enhance the town centre. When your build is complete, create a short video tour of your solution, explaining how you address the challenge in Minecraft and your vision of a more sustainable London. And then send us the video. We are really looking forward to seeing your creative solutions and meeting some of you in June when we celebrate the top ideas. To join the challenge, visit the website. There you can access research materials on what will make London safer, fairer, greener and more prosperous. If you enjoy the challenge, who knows, planning and designing a whole new city could even become your future career. We can't wait to explore how each and every one of you imagine a better London for everyone. Good luck.
Well, so something that's designed for young people. I mean, it's obviously a game with Minecraft is, you know, fairly obvious, sort of a build with Lego kind of thing. But actually, the way he described it as a rather blocky thing, it was rather funny. I mean, you know, sort of, I don't know whether seen anything alternative that might be a bit smoother, but you thought it was blocky. There you go. Yeah, and obviously if you don't live in London, that's not help to you. But, you know, it's interesting. It's nice to see that government and things like that, even if it's local government, are jumping into these kind of things for us. Okay. I'm going to have a departure here. This video came from somebody on WhatsApp. I think it was Kathy Hackey, actually. I'm not quite sure, but very short one.
Our eyes can only see so much. But what if they could see more? What if you could see the world in a more interesting way? You could finally work with horses. You love horses. Or what if rather than using your mind's eye, you could see things with your eye's mind? Things like, I don't know, a virtual wardrobe. Oh, I like the yellow. You could make imaginary friends real, or see your real friends in a more imaginary way. Because when you start to see the things you love in a whole new way, you start to want to share them with the world. With me? Well, maybe not the whole world. Oh, right, okay. And weirdly enough, that helps us all see ourselves and each other just a little more clearly. The floor is beans.
Now, when I first saw that, I was like, now, what can this possibly be advertising, you know, metaverse-wise, you know, furries, you know, people as animals and everything else like that. It turns out to be Snapchat. You know, I guess if you use Snapchat, you know what all that's about. So I think what was on the video was a case of slight over-exaggeration more than anything else. What else have I got here? I've got to come back to a couple of these in a minute or two. Which was this one? Oh, yes. Okay, I'm going to run the beginning of this. It's 8 minutes, so I'm not going to include all of it. But this is quite. I thought this is quite interesting. This is one of those 3D worlds that presumably doesn't work very well unless you're in a helmet. But it's part of a series here, Pilgrim in the Metaverse. It's a kind of worthy thing. So have a look at this. Becoming homeless. Well, there is some sound coming up. I think there is.
Employees are now bracing for another.
Okay, I just needed to wait, didn't I? Okay. The idea is you've been evicted.
Welcome back to KFM 98.2. This is Derek Douglas with your daily news. More hard times. Area employees are now bracing for another round of layoffs. This comes just 2 months after companies in the area notified over 500 employees of their impending termination. Join us as we check in with our senior labor reporter. What does this mean for poverty levels? How will this affect living wage job opportunities? Will we see a push for more affordable housing? All this up next.
Listen, I know you're having trouble making rent. I understand you're in a difficult situation, but I need someone that can pay. And if you can't, then you need to vacate.
You've been unemployed for over 2 months, and you need to find a more affordable place to live, which is difficult to do in this area. While you look for a new place, you decide to sell objects in your apartment to make money for rent. You have enough time before eviction to sell 6 items in your apartment. Choose the items now. Please choose an item.
Well, this is a little bit slow, so I'm going to sort of zoom through it a bit. How helpful this is for anybody who's been through the experience, I don't know, but as an education for people who might in the future go through it.
After receiving multiple citations, you sold your car to pay the fines and avoid jail time. Luckily, you were able to apply for a free pass that allows you to ride public transit at night for shelter and warmth. Despite being off the streets, sleeping on this bus is not easy to do. Look over your right shoulder. This man has been known to harass homeless people. He may start to get closer to you, but he'll move away if you stare at him.
Spooky, huh? Oh, it's taking a long while to go, by the look of it.
For me personally, not having a place, it's not where you want to be. You gotta keep moving. Because if you don't keep moving from spot to spot.
Okay. So, from Stanford University, basically. I'll leave that there actually because you get the idea. And as I said, you know, it's sort of it's cautionary, you know, the cycle of events that can, you know, just can be I can't pay the rent this week through to you know, accelerating, you know, chaos and being actually homeless and selling your car and living on the, well, you get the idea we saw there. Right, I'm not going to play this actually, 4 minutes is a waste of time, but I think it's rather interesting. On January 19th, the creators of something called the Unknown Theatre in Horizon Worlds, which is a meta thingy, they assembled something called Protest Land to demand a greater visibility and support for creator user services. And oh, what the hell, I'm not going to play 8 minutes, but you get the idea.
Like ours, we're not backed by Meta in any way. We make no money off this, we just spend money. But when you're...
And crash and burn, probably more than a dozen.
We're doing it right now. We are protesting.
Yeah, as you can see, I don't really, you know, I wish them luck, but I mean, you know, it's not as though they're really empowered to protest. I mean, they haven't got any legs, have they? You know, how can you protest without any legs to stand on? It's just, you know, not quite the thing, is it? Oh dear. Let me go back to our news clips.
So to speak, no legs to stand on, right?
Exactly. Right, so carrying on. There's not much more to go. Okay, this week in XR. This is Charlie Fink's later in the week thing. This is, of course, at come on, you can do it. Thank you. Right, this is at Forbes.com, FORBES.com, the usual place. And this is the end of the week roundup from Charlie. $18 million for Gemba VR training. Dreamscape learns to spin off with blah blah blah. Always looking at the corporate side of things, really. Very little mention of things like the Open Metaverse from Charlie. It's sort of well, Open Metaverse as a rule doesn't sponsor podcasts, does it? So. And the talk about will there or won't be Apple, etc. I'm not big on rumours here, I'm afraid. New Ready Player Me avatars there in Spatial IO. I'm beginning to get quite keen on Spatial IO, but not as an alternative to anything I really like, but yeah, good stuff there. Yeah, so and some links at the bottom as to what he's reading. So you find that at Forbes.com, FORBES.com. Direct page link, of course, is in my Twitter feed, twitter.com/MalBurns. Right. This is the Internet Pioneer now boasts more than 100 tech and intranet trademarks, basically, I think it is. No, patents, sorry, not trademarks. Now, Utherverse, weird. They've got 7 new patents, but they've got hundreds already, apparently. They've been around for quite a while. But they've only seemed to be sort of, I guess, with all the fuss about metaverse or metaverses and all this stuff, Utherverse is sort of sticking its head above the water again. From what I remember, it was very sort of Second Life experience, sort of 10 years ago-ish, but it was totally adult. and you'd be in an immersive space and you come to a door and you had to pay to go through the door, to a strip club or something like that. So it was. I apologise to the verse if I got them mixed up with somebody else. It was a long while ago, but they've been working for 2 decades basically to enhance users' experiences, and they've got some new patents. This announcement comes from March Tech Series, so MARTECHSERIES.com. Again, that might be one where you need my Twitter feed to get the exact link, but good luck on that. Right, xrtoday.com. This is an easy one. xrtoday.com. And they have a roundup too. Again, same time as Charlie Forbes is. Charlie Forbes, what am I talking about? Charlie Fink at Forbes. Same day. Microsoft's virtual platforms are closed. They're really quick on that news. Considering this is the end of this week rather than last. Interesting. Been quite a lot of reaction to the end of Altspace VR. It's the end of the metaverse as we know it, as if it was. Well, it was a player, but it wasn't. A lot of the people writing about it thought it was the bee's knees, and there was nothing else like it, and it was so far advanced or anything else. Well, cough, cough, folks. I did not think so. I couldn't, after attending a few things in there, I just couldn't be bothered to go back in again. They did have some quite good events, educational tech events and things, but it wasn't, I didn't find it immersive in any real way. Anyway, XR Today, xrtoday.com for that little bit of news, including US Justice Department versus Google. That's an interesting one. Wish them luck. The Americans, I mean the Justice Department, that is. Can't fight Google, they're too big, Mike. Right, key questions about the metaverses. Oh dear. Big mistake just in the headline. They've pluralized the word metaverse as if their understanding of the word metaverse is interesting in the first place. Anyway, this is a post at Medium. It's got its own address. It's jetstyle.medium.com. So jetstyle.medium.com. If it has its own address, I doubt if it's behind their paywall, so you should be able to get to it. And what's the relevant definitions of a metaverse? They've gone singular again there. I wonder why they chose plural up top. Anyway, will people pay for in metaverses? Right, they've gone plural now. What will the currency be? You get the idea. They're looking at all these sort of issues. It's not as frivolous as it might seem. They've got the issues right, so just haven't really got the terminology right, or the how shall I say, so one gets the feeling they haven't been around that much, but they have pinpointed important things. So you'll find that one at jetstyle.medium.com, and rapidly removing these items. Yeah, oh wow, we're getting near the bottom here now. Okay, arpost.co again. Assisted reality, the other AR. Now this is fascinating. I mean, we knew this already. But although we think of AR standing for augmented reality, it also stands for assisted reality. And it's more mixed reality, actually. They think augmented reality, like virtual reality, is sort of the ability to do things, with that reality, whereas they define assisted reality as a almost educational thing where the virtual world or the interface is designed to tell you things and teach you how to do it, not actually enable you to do it, if you see what I mean. So they make a point of this, and you won't need hand tracking and you won't need the ability to pick up something because you never go into a space where you need to do that, but you will find information and stuff that you need. And it's especially in the workplace where they need real-time information in front of them. I like this phrase, data snacking. Anyway, a little bit about that at arpost.co if you're interested. VentureBeat, of course, more of a gaming site than anything else, but They get their events frequently now cover the so-called metaverse, the new age of exploration they call it, staking a claim in the metaverse. And the idea is that, well, they are looking, they're not looking at anything deliberately, but the idea is that, you know, it's this is what Howard oh God, what's his name? Yeah, called virtual homesteading back in the day. You know, the idea that you would have a place in a 3D space online that you call your home and you move out from there. And this has happened ever since Second Life existed, arguably even before that with there.com. Yeah, oh, you know, there's an advert here for registering as well with an event. But anyway, it's the chat comes from another platform called Over there. So you find that at venturebeat.com, venturebeat.com. And oh yeah, we're getting down to the gritty here. Okay, another post at medium.com. All I can give you here is medium.com, medium.com. But if you go via my Twitter feed, as usual, you'll get to the actual article. Louis Rosenberg basically talking about mixed reality as our digital future. All the more focus on kids these days. I mean, you know, if I was a kid of that age, would I really want to be meeting that thing when I was walking down the road? Even on my bicycle, I wouldn't be able to get away far enough. Who knows? Anyway, it's quite a key picture, really. It looks like it comes from a movie. I suppose that's the idea. And of course, they drew it with Mid-Journey. Cheat. Why don't you hire an artist? Okay, here's the... personally, they believe it's too early to write off the metaverse, but they've still got work to do, etc., etc. And why mixed reality, you know, is probably coming first beyond virtual. And yeah, quite a lot of stuff in this article, citing all sorts of companies and technology and stuff. Rosenberg is apparently a pioneer of virtual and augmented reality, over 30 years at Stanford and NASA. So virtual fiction Air Force research. Sounds like he's been all over the place there, doesn't it? So presumably you could say he knows what he's talking about. Rather quick article there. It's not exactly a heavyweight academic document, but reasonably worth reading. And finally, for the web clicks, this is a site called the metabyte.com. I only found this site this week. I immediately added them to my subscriptions for RSS, so maybe some other stuff will appear from them shortly. Citizens of the Metaverse site, the metabyte.com, TheMetabite.com. And they were taking a BBC World Service report on stateless people who, you know, don't have a country or a state to belong to, and the potential of the metaverse to provide a virtual refuge for these people. If this sounds far-fetched, it's not relevant, it's not in this article, but if you watch the news about the time the last environmental conference is going on, there is a nation, an island nation somewhere that literally only has 2 years before it sinks. And although they have been given new land by another nation, you know, to call their own, they've been investing a lot in creating, you know, the first virtual world nation, because they don't actually have any physical land to stand on anymore. Even they're one of their, you know, their major spokesmen gave a video cast to the environmental conference, and he was knee deep in water with a podium in front of him. You know, so I'm not going to be here much longer, you know, but and sort of stressing that they needed somewhere for their people to physically go, but also they were going to, you know, rebuild their country as a virtual one, as it were. So yeah, this is sort of related to that in some ways. So you'll find this at the metabyte.com, TheMetabite.com. And yeah, and sweet, okay, put that one away because that's coming later for something else. Okay, so moving back to the Department of Video here, we did that one, didn't we? Good timing today. Yeah, this is a quick, this is a platform called Hyperfly.
This week we added a few cool features. As I hop out of bed, the zone on the floor triggers a camera. That's the first feature, is the camera app. You can either access it by hotkey or by trigger, live and multiplayer at any time. And while you're recording yourself and controlling your character, you can even interact with things. Next is our web app. As long as the site doesn't block iframe, you can browse, use apps, play games, and watch streams. And finally, you may have noticed that my mouth moves when I'm talking. As of yesterday, when you're using voice chat, your character will mimic speech for a more immersive experience.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Okay, a lot of people I know who are involved in the open metaverse projects and things tend to rather like that Hyper-5 platform for prototyping things. It's basically a web, you can go there and you can create on the web, virtual world kind of experiences. Oops, we've done that one. And we've done London, haven't we? What's the next one I've got here?
There was a time when someone from PBS came to the VR platform, and who?
Absolutely, yeah. I was very fortunate to be asked by Jojo, Joseph Lawrence. He's a documentary filmmaker who works with PBS very often on a series called Subculture, which is an exploration of different subcultures within the United States around here. He's touched on female graffiti artists, furries, and other people, but he chose to do an episode on the metaverse and interview myself and a couple other people about what it is, what it means, and, to me, the most important message I think that I had to get out for that particular documentary was about what identity means to people inside of here in VR, because it wasn't necessarily talking about all this, it was more about, because that's the crux of a lot of my reasons for feeling comfortable in here and other people feeling like themselves and discovering themselves is identity. Because you can control your identity down to the minutest detail or try on new identities safely without the cultural or familial pressures around you. It allows people to find themselves a little bit different. I make the joke, I've seen more eggs cracking here than a chicken farmer. And it's the truth. It's the truth. I joke about it that way, but I can't tell you how many times. I really can't tell you how many times I've had the experience where someone has walked up and said, I saw you and it just inspired me, and, I recently came out as trans and I feel like I can be comfortable and be myself because I see you doing this. And honestly, with all the social anxiety, I would never freaking do this normally, but because I hear stories like this and people seeing that, I'm like, I had my inspirational people that helped me get through things. I'm glad to be even a tiny bit that for somebody else, to help them find themselves in their happiness in life.
Now, I'm not sure what platform that was. I think it may be Spatial IO, but it could have been any virtual world, not the look of it. But what was being said, it was like a chat saying, well, this is why I'm here, and this is what's so great about being here immersed in this other place. And you can apply that to anything from there.com and Second Life, the old school stuff, to even quite a few of the newer platforms, I suppose, if it's simply being immersed with other people. A good point. I'm obviously not including the platforms that don't have any people in them, but advertisers, if they do, they're a different breed entirely. I don't think you'll find much to do in there. Okay, I've got two. Oh, let's get this in order, right? Well, I've got two here on Engage. Against Engage is I like Engage actually. These are very short clips anyway, but they're little introductions to stuff happening there.
Hello.
Hi there. It's nice to meet you. How can I help you today?
Tell me about yourself.
Hi there. I'm Athena, your friendly assistant in Engage. I'm designed to help you navigate through the metaverse, find the information and content you need, and answer any questions you have. How can I help you today?
Please create a sticky note that says, "Where is the location of John Connor?"
Sure, I'll make a sticky note for you that says, "Where is the location of John Connor?"
It took a while to decide, didn't it?
Please play a video about Formula One.
Sure, I'll now play a video about Formula One.
2022 heralded an exciting new era in Formula One, with all new cars and all new regulations. And as the season
Sure,
kicked
I will
off
stop
in
the video for
Bahrain,
you now.
It's been like a kid cartoon, isn't it? Her responses are so delayed, and but this is interesting. This is actually an AI, and this is an early look alpha on they filmed here. There's another bit coming up. It's not actually that new. Back in the day in Second Life, you know, they had days when IBM and Orange and various people were coming in there. They would take buildings and they didn't really know what to do with them, half of them, and so they'd sort of script a receptionist to sort of talk to people visiting. Very elementary, you know, they only had so many lines and they could only understand yes or no or whatever, but you know, you actually walked into a building, there was a receptionist, and you'd say sort of, what's going on here? And she'd say, this is the headquarters of IBM in Second Life, and come again? This is a heck. Never mind. You know, you get the idea. It's not new, but obviously with AI these days, everything is going kind of a little bit bananas. So this is a continuation of that same thing, or not quite the same thing actually, but you get the idea.
What else can you do?
Doesn't know.
I can help you with a lot of different tasks in Engage. I can open menus, draw images and create sticky notes, play and control videos, change my voice or gender, load or create objects and IFXs, recenter your headset, adjust audio levels, and start and stop recordings. Let me know if there is anything you need help with.
Create an image of kittens in space.
Oh, that's a hard
Sure,
one.
I will make an image for you of kittens in space.
Finally, and of course it's OpenAI
Create
image.
an image of Darth Vader as a kitten.
Obviously,
Sure, I will make an image for you of Darth Vader as a kitten.
serious platforms can also be used for trivial tasks, of course. They do promote themselves as more of an enterprise and consumer platform, which makes it rather funny that they're doing this stuff.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, thank you.
So that's that
No
then.
problem. You're welcome.
I'm going to cut it there. Right, I got to find the clip. I didn't dare put it up actually, but there was a picture in one of the feeds this week of a vaguely Japanese-looking woman. You know, looked like a call girl or a webcam girl. You know, and you got to call up and interact, and she would do whatever the webcam girls do, except that it was an AI. And most of the comments came from female commentators saying this is the end of the world for women. Anyway, right, one final chat here. Again, just a minute and a half of we met in virtuality and Figma XR.
Hi everyone. I just want to say thank you to the Figma XR crew for entrusting me with the first artist in residency, and I got to tell you, you've been a very important part of my journey into mixed reality. I only made that decision last year to pivot into this space, even though I've been in XR for the past 6 years, and it's just been a real dream. I've always wanted to be in a residency because I think it's a really lovely way to showcase what's inside your heart. and especially in your own voice. It makes me think of the quote actually by Little Prince. And now here is my little secret, a very simple secret. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Now, this was very much pre-mixed reality when Antoine wrote that quote, but nonetheless, I think it holds true because the things that I try to bring to reality that is often invisible to us, but we feel it, that is a very common North Star for me. And hopefully you feel that in my work. Hopefully you can also feel Figman's own beautiful values come through too. And I hope to be able to help any of the next residents that come along. I'm here for y'all. Thanks again.
And jolly good. So, we're at the end of the show already.
Yeah.
Well on time this week, aren't we? We're certainly under. Yeah, that's all we got for you this week. Any thoughts, James, on what we've seen, where we've been, etc., etc.?
I had a thought somewhere, but I lost it.
I know that feeling. It was probably the one I was commenting on halfway through. Yeah, some of these clips end up being kind of interesting, and some very interesting, others just sort of anecdotal,
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
it's nice to see what people are doing and what it's saying and stuff, and at the same time, yeah. Okay, well, that's it for this week. My thanks to James.
Yep.
To James.
Oh, sure thing.
And thanks to me. Gosh golly, yay, 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 yay. I'm waiting for the applause, but it's not coming.
Oh.
What is showbiz all about if you actually have to ask for the applause? Come on, I might as well not be here. Man, dear. Okay, but we will be back same time, same place next week with another batch of news for you, so to speak. Yeah, and replay us anytime on YouTube. You can find me, Mal Bones, as you know, on Twitter, twitter.com/MALBURNS, or as my two separate names, Mal Space Burns, that's the real thing. That's the name of my channel at YouTube, where you can play back this and a whole load of other things too, as they rear their ugly heads, or less ugly heads, depending on whether you like furries or not. I don't. Oh God, what am I talking about? Indeed. Okay, stay safe, everybody. Remember, the world is still an unhealthy place. Avoid viruses, stuff like that. Stay indoors if you can. It's a much more preferable place to entertain yourself and work and everything else. And if you get bored, don't read a book. Don't watch television. Don't play Lego or Minecraft for that matter. Go into the virtual world and meet friends and see concerts and films and do everything you would in the real world, but without moving. But do stand up and exercise once in a while. You don't want to get fat, basically. Stand up one day and your legs don't work anymore. That's the way I feel sometimes. Okay, thanks everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.